So something kind of interesting happened, and I recorded it last night, although I didn't talk very much except in the very beginning. So after what had been a really kind of crushing kind of downswing here, where I was down, you know, $7.50. Um, I was just like, so kind of feeling so dejected, and even though I felt like I was playing okay. I mean, maybe I made a few mistakes here and there, but I just kept feeling like, oh, nothing was connecting on the flop. Um, or, even when I got a good hand pre-flop, people would fold and not call my modest pre-flop raise. And then, of course, after the flop, like, I get queens and there'd be ace king on the flop, that kind of thing. So anyway, I just kind of felt like, oh, I'm in the middle of this horrible downswing. This is, so I don't know. What if I play at a different time of day? What if I play longer? What if I just need to really correct? I need to make up this kind of loss. Kind of chasing a loss, which is kind of tilting it away. But I streamed it live, and yeah, for the first like 2.5 hours at least, the downswing continued unabated. I don't think I was making mistakes really, but before I knew it, I had started in buying it for 5, and before I knew it, I had bought in for 15 because I kept rebuying every time uh, my stack would get too small or whatever. So, and then all of a sudden, it all changed. It's pretty crazy in the middle there where I was getting, you know, aces followed by queens or ace king 2 hands in a row, or and then not only that, but these things were connecting to the flop. Like every other good hand that I'd get would connect to the flop in a major way. Flopping a full house, flopping a flush draw that would turn into a not flush. This kind of thing just happened over and over, and not only that, people were calling, multiple bets after the flop. There were still people who were folding to my aces pre-flop, but got a lot of people calling me down to the river with a weaker kicker, that kind of thing, when I connected to the flop or connected to the turn. Or even when I just continuation bet and somebody called, then all of a sudden the card would come on the turn and I connect to it. And this just happened over and over. And before I knew it, I had $18 of profit above the 15 that I invested, bringing me up here, as you can see on this bankroll chart, up to 59.84. If we go and look at the summary graph, it's pretty substantial change in direction here for $9.84 profit overall. So of course that took me 5 hours last night, though, even though I said I was going to play for a half hour. So I just kept playing and kept playing, and then once the upswing started, I obviously I don't believe that if you're in the middle of an upswing swing, there's any reason that it should continue. Um, but it was just hard to. I kept saying, okay, it's just one more hand, and then the next hand would be ace king or something. I'd be like, okay, well here we go again, and then I'd get another big uh, boost in bankroll there. So finally, I just kind of forced myself to stop way later than I wanted to. But anyway, it was a good night. And so now I'm going to go back to what I was doing. I still don't have bankroll for anything more than um, the half stack sizes. Um, so I'm going to set up this again here like I have been before. This time I'm actually starting a little stopwatch timer here so I can pay attention to exactly how long I've been playing. I also just felt like I was playing a little bit differently. Had gotten more comfortable with the mid stack strategy, and just had sort of, I don't know, started playing by instinct a little bit more. Started being able to read people a little bit better, and it all just started to click for me. I think also just players were much worse last night. I think maybe when I'm playing around lunchtime during the week, I'm playing against regulars, right? And when I'm playing on a Friday night, especially later at night when the population had dwindled down below 50 players. Um, Hold on just a second. When the population had dwindled down below 50 players, I imagine, maybe there's some people who are feeling a little bit desperate at that time of night, that kind of thing. So I'm going to call a min raise here, just basically hoping to connect with a good flush draw. But I didn't, so I'm going to go ahead and fold out. So like little things like that. I mean, I guess I don't really have the implied odds to call a big raise there. Okay, so here, I guess my upswing continues. Now here's a situation where if everyone folds around to me, I really feel I'm getting nothing out of these aces. At least I got somebody calling the blind there. and then king ace over here. Now let's see if we can get this guy to go all in. Go on, go all in. What you go all in? Okay, I can get him go all in now probably. There we go. All right, so off to a good start here. Somebody actually called my aces. I actually sort of stacked somebody. Now here's a situation where this is a pretty big raise here. That raise kind of tells me like big pocket pair. I think, or maybe they're just trying to scare people away from a small pocket pair, but I'm just going to fold out of there. What can I really do there? I could kind of re-raise, almost, you know, pot committing myself there. It's probably going to be an all-in situation, and I don't want to be looking at kings or aces, or even queens. I went and looked at the odds calculator, and yeah, indeed, I mean pocket pairs, I think, come out ahead of any of it. Let's pull that up right now. There we are, poker odds calculator. And it's this one on Poker News. It's a good one. I'm going to fold out of this. Okay, so there it is. And let's say that I have ace king, and my opponent has some tiny pocket pair like 2-2. And we'll see that even then, yes, it's close to being a coin flip, but even then, they're still winning most of the time. Yeah, so, and then when we get up to, like, let's clear these out and give my opponent, you know, 2 kings, then it's pretty abysmal for me. So yeah, I don't want to be in those situations. Hey, look, I won the blinds with my ace king there. So my stack is getting a little larger over here. So that's, so I started with 50. Now I have 60, 67 or something like that, big blinds. No, 77. So I think I can, I'm not going to call a raise with those, but if I could be the opening raiser, I might. I don't like my position that much there for that. All right, so I got jacks here. This is a hand that I should re-raise this guy with. So I'd re-raise him up to 40 to account for the caller. And I could potentially get all in here with this. The guy was in late position. That is not a great flop for me. Let's go ahead and continuation bet it here, representing that we have the ace. Maybe get him to fold, and there it worked. All right. Of course, you know, if you get a caller there, and you basically give up on the hand. Yeah, so this is the kind of thing that was happening to me last night. I mean, I opened here with aces on my first hand. I haven't been playing that long, right? I've been playing 5 minutes. We've got an ace, king, jacks, kings. So sometimes this happens, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. The sevens from cutoff here, I think I can raise this guy up to 20. So this is an okay flop for me. Just basically value betting here. Because it's so coordinated, I'm going to put a little bit more pressure on him there. Did not flop a set here. And again, I'm value betting. That queen wouldn't have helped him if he's chasing a draw. I'm going to fold out with my sevens here. Okay, so I'm getting re-raised now. Maybe he connected with the queen. He could have been calling me with queen ace though, which is not good. And he also could have completed his flush draw, although I don't think he would have been re-raising with that. worried about queen ace here. Really worried about queen ace. I think I need to fold this. But anyway, that's the kind of hand where yeah, he must have been re-raising because he had a queen with a good kicker, I think. He was calling my I don't think he had the, we could have also had the flush draw. No, I don't know. Yeah, either one of those are possible, I guess. Although re-raising on the turn is strange if he had the flush draw. So anyway, that's the kind of situation where it's like, okay, you got your kings, but you have enough of those situations in a row, and you lose a big portion of your stack. So here I'm down, below profitability for this session already, even though I was way up, after the first couple of hands. So being able to weather that kind of thing, both emotionally and in terms of bankroll, I think is really important. And wait for those times when things are firing on all cylinders. Sometimes that happens. That's even more profitable in a situation where you're up against players that have been watching your behavior all night and so on. Here it's not as profitable because all of a sudden they think you've gotten, basically that you've gotten frisky or something. You're playing every hand, you're raising every hand, or if they sit down at your table in the middle of that, they get to the image of you. Okay, so this is a good flop for me. Give me this backdoor flush draw, which I'm not too crazy about, but also, top pair, top kicker. And here, with this re-raise, I think I'm just going to flat call him. I want to play for stacks here. If he's, maybe he flopped a set or something. Okay, it's checking around to me. So I think this is a spot where I'm just going to check around again. Okay, so now I have two pair. So this is kind of monster hand situation. I'm going to get all in with this guy. So I don't really... Oh, okay. All right, well that ended up being profitable because we had another guy calling our bets there. The re-raise with top pair there is a little strange. The re-raise on his part, I should say. Although I can't remember what the original... Sort of a blocking bet, right? So maybe he was just trying to get a good value bet in there. I can't remember what the original bet was that he re-raised. So I'm going to go ahead and see the flop for free here. Connected with the bottom pair. Let's just see if we can steal this pot here. No, it doesn't look like we can. Okay, so now we're checking it through. And hey, we made it to showdown and we won. So I don't know what he was calling with. Maybe a sudden... No, it wouldn't even... Not a flush draw. What could it be? He could have had a flush draw, I guess. Anyway, my plan here is that once I push up over $100, then I can let me go for a blind steal here. Once I push up over $100, I can start playing for full stacks. So this is a spot where I'll continuation bet. And this is a spot where I'll fold. I don't feel like my stacks are big enough yet to be playing um, those second flush draw kinds of hands. Except as a blind steal. It's not really a blind steal when people are calling the blind into you like that. Once my stack gets a little bigger, so I'm seeing the flop for free here with the 6 and the 2. And there I've got my pair of 6s. So taking it down with the pot size bet. Anyway, once my stack got larger, like last night when I was playing with, I think toward the end I was playing with like $15 stacks. Maybe an $18 stack. Yeah, like a $15 and an $18 stack, something like that. Then I could really start playing the flush draws. I can, handle betting deeper into the flop, the turn, and the river without chewing up my whole stack doing it. And then maybe hit a big payoff at the end. So now I've been playing for 13 minutes. Hoping to eke out a small profit here today and push up above the $60 mark. Let's see if we can get a call over here with the kings. No, everybody folds. Come on, everybody. Okay, so this is a hand that I can call with over here. It doesn't connect at all, so I'm just going to abandon it now. Probably shouldn't be calling with hands like that for now. The problem is, like, when I'm playing with different size stacks, I kind of get in the habit of doing something. Like last night, I got in the habit of playing a certain way with larger stacks, and then I'm coming back here to smaller stacks again, and then having trouble shifting gears a little bit. But I really want to become, good and flexible in terms of like stack size, because when you play live, your stack size is often changing a lot. So I want to be able to like flexibly handle whatever stack size I'm dealing with at the moment and remember how to shift gears, basically. So here I am in the small blind. You got a lot of limpers coming in here. A lot of limpers, so I'm going to go up to 30. Squeeze a couple of them out, hopefully. Maybe isolate one of them. I've got a good hand here, good enough for all these limpers. Somebody would have raised if they had something better than this. This is not a good flop for me. He could have connected to this with his limp. So I'm just going to check through. I've got 2 overcards, and they're not connecting. Here's my ace. I'm going to try and take it down here. Alright, so that worked out alright. Here I can do a blind steal with these. I haven't been paying attention to whether blind steals are effective today or not. So now I've got a gut shot. And I don't want to take it any further than this. It's interesting. I noticed that, last night blind steals were working really well for a little while, and then they slowly stopped working, it seemed. So I wonder if that sort of the meta that happens in this game is like constantly shifting and changing as people react to the overall collective patterns of the average player. And if you as an individual player start blind stealing more, or blind steal every time you're on the button, for example, then people start kind of collectively reacting to that collective shift in behavior, like your incremental effect on that collective behavior. So it could be like, we're constantly cycling around through different sort of meta strategies. So this is a place where I can re-raise. That guy's in late enough position that I'm going to take it up to 60. This guy, I can take it up to 40. He's pushing me all in. I feel like I'm going to get burned if I call here. I'm going to call though, see what I got here. King, ace. All right, well, there we go. Not too many people really to continuation bet here. Definitely not calling this with somebody else calling it. So there's the kind of situation like where I've got ace king. I've got ace king in two different tables, but neither of them really connect. The other one is in a situation where the other guy has exactly the same hand as me. So that's the kind of situation that feels to me like, okay, even if I play correctly, I'm being led to sort of downswing overall outcome, right? Whereas last night that wasn't happening. It was like always some guy with ace queen who was, or somebody with queens who then, I would flop a king or an ace. And so realizing that, those situations either happen or don't, and you have no control over them, is a big part of learning how to play this game well. Okay, so I got my queens here. I'd like to re-raise somebody. Okay, perfect. I can get all in against this guy if he pushes. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is a good situation for me. I've got a slight advantage here as long as we don't get it. Yes, all right. Well, that was close to him having a straight there. All right, so now I'm up $1 over here, down $1 over here. So I'm at slightly profitable spot here. Be careful and try and hold on to that. Not make any mistakes. Don't really need to be, double barrel bluffing or anything here. Just kind of wait until I've got something worth playing and play it. Although, that getting all in with the queens is kind of a somewhat higher variance move, right? Yeah, it's close. I have an advantage over him, but a very slight advantage, right? So there's a pretty good chance either of us are going to get stacked there. Well, actually, he wasn't going to get stacked, but that I was going to get stacked or kind of double up there. And I got basically lucky, that my queens, he didn't hit one of his overcards. Okay, so this is a situation where I can raise under the gun here. Okay. So now I have 2 overcards. I'm just going to check this through, though. Keep the pot small here. Don't get in a situation where I... he called my raise. I'm not hitting anything here. So I'm just going to hope to see a showdown and that I have the best hand. And I do. I don't know what he had. Maybe he had king, queen, something like that. Don't need to waste any more money on this hand. I didn't want to see this flop anyway. Just going to try and go for a showdown here. Maybe luck out and like hit a queen or something on the river. Did not luck out and hit a queen on the river. But won the pot anyway. There's a situation where it doesn't really do any good to bet there. I mean, he's not gonna call anything unless he's got me beat. King Jack, one of my favorite hands to fold. Okay, so we're approaching the 22-minute mark. We are up just ever so slightly here. Hopefully get one more good hand in here someplace. This table over here obviously feels like it needs some love. So I'm getting to the point here where I could defend blind steal here. I definitely could see. Let's raise this guy up. Try and steal the blind back from him. It's not really a... Okay, so that just worked on its own. Okay, so now I've got an overpair. It's really up to 11. 11 more. It's probably just going to fold out from under me here. No, I guess not. Okay. 9. So I still only have... So this is just a straight value bet here. Hopefully... There we go. All right. So I don't know if I all of a sudden started playing better last night. Players got worse because it's the weekend. Or just my luck changed in terms of the kinds of cards I was getting. It's hard to tell. That's for me the hardest thing about poker is that you could be doing really poorly and it may be your fault and may not be your fault, and it's hard to tell the difference. Which is also one of the most intriguing things about it, right? It's really about becoming good at it. It really involves a lot of skills and self-mastery and things, almost more than any other skill. Being able to control yourself when that's happening. And you're going to lose money tonight, but you don't need to lose all your money tonight. Okay, so jacks are a hand I can re-raise with, although I am going to be out of position for the rest of the hand. Definitely a hand I can blind steal with. King, queen, hand I can blind steal with, and depending on where somebody... yeah, so it's definitely not a re-raising hand, not a 3-betting hand. Is it a hand that I can call this with? No, I don't think so. Don't really want to be doing much calling here. This is a blind stealing kind of spot here. And it works. So I'm going to be pretty firm with myself and cut myself off right at the 30-minute mark. I'm also wondering if I'm ever going to be able to do that when I'm not at least showing a small profit. That's really hard. I mean, it's interesting that there's like this knowledge that, just because there are such things as downswings in that you can experience, like say, look over the last so many hands, like the last 100 hands, I have only gotten one pocket pair. That's way lower than the expected number. You're supposed to get a pocket pair every 17 hands. So that is, mathematically speaking, that is a downswing below what you would expect. And you could also look over the history of your hand. In the past 100 hands, you got, way more pocket pairs than you would expect. That is, definitely a measurable upswing. What you can't say is that, you're in the middle of one. All you know is that you're at the end of one, right? That one, and you could be in the middle. You're not sure yet until you see what's coming in the next hand, right? So it's interesting that it kind of works both ways, though, because you've been having a downswing, and you know that just because you've been having one doesn't mean that future hands are going to be part of the same downswing, right? So then you say, well, I should keep playing, because the longer I play, every additional hand is just as likely as not to go back to expected behavior, right? For the cards. And on the other hand, when you're in the middle of an upswing and things are going amazingly well, it's really hard to stop. But you're using the same fallacy to justify that in reverse, right? Like, oh, I'm on fire tonight, I can't quit. Even though being on fire means nothing about, cards turning out for you well on the next hand forward, right? The fact that you were on fire for the past 100 or even 1,000 hands means nothing about the 101st or 1,001st hand, right? So even though you can use math to say I better keep playing, you can also you can legitimately use math to say I better keep playing when you've been having a bad night. That's not your fault. Assuming it's a bad night, that's not your fault. And then you can illegitimately use the same math to convince yourself to keep playing when you've been having a good night. When I guess if you've been having a good night, you should stop. I don't know what you should do. I mean, if you're expected, so here I've got a couple of limpers. Hopefully you can isolate one of them. Maybe get someone to re-raise me, but probably not. Got two callers. This is not a great flop for me. I can't continuation bet because I've got too many people in the pot with me. Somebody's going to bet. I guess I can call this limpy bet like this. Hoping. Oops, I meant to raise here. Hopefully it gets checked around to me. I get one more card. Oh, so close. So maybe somebody connected with the jacks. I don't want to do that big of a bet, though. Let's just do a little, 12-cent bet here. Got two overcards here. That guy folds. I'm hoping he connected with the jacks. And I guess he did. And now I've got my ace high here. And all right. Glad I didn't push that pot up any bigger than it needed to be. All right, so I'm right here at the end. Let's literally do, I'm just going to limp in with this for my final hand here. I shouldn't, unless I can't really be calling a big raise with these. Over here at this table, I've got my king queen, which is a kind of a folding hand. I don't have the implied odds to call the 25-cent bet here. So I gotta fold out of this last hand here. I think I can go ahead and smooth call this because there was another caller in the pot. Let's make sure I set out the next hand. I definitely need to fold this. All right. So now folding, and there's my queen. That kind of sucks. Although I guess I can imagine somebody here having a jack. Let's wait till the end of the hand and see. Oh, there's my two pair. But somebody has a jack. I'd be sad that I waited to see that two pair. I don't want to be. Oh, I never get to see his hand. All right. All right, so then let's get my little calculator out here, just because my brain is not feeling too sharp right now for math. 336, 241, 577, 77 cents profit in 31 minutes. And that, I believe, folks, is enough to put me up over the 177, and I played exactly for 31 minutes. And I think that is enough to put me up over my goal for the day, which is $60. And so there, my little upswing continues. Let's go look at the summary. Of course, this doesn't show, how long I was playing. So now I'm earning a massive rate of $1.16 per hour. I don't know what average win rate means. Total number of sessions 7, a 20% return on my investment. All right, so let's close out here. Make sure these figures line up. Takes a little while. Oh, there, 60, 61. All right, and check 60, 61. All right, so thanks for watching.